Welcome to the BioBuzz Center. This is Tracy Cooley, and today I am here with Paul Hastings, President and CEO of San Francisco-based OncoMed Pharmaceuticals. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
And Paul is also the chair of our emerging companies section at Bio. And tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, the venture capital environment.
I think there are those who would say right now the venture capital environment is drying up. I've heard this over and over again at the conference. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think we're in a cycle right now where a smaller number of venture capitalists are going to be funding the majority of the new companies that are going to be emerging as emerging companies, startup companies, if you will. So while we're in a cycle, cycles always change, and while venture investment has slowed a bit, I'm optimistic that it's going to come back. I'm optimistic that venture capitalists are going to get funded. It may not be the same venture capitalists, it might be a different group of venture capitalists, but I'm confident they're going to get funded, and innovation is going to get funded, and small companies are going to turn into mid-sized companies, and mid-sized companies are going to turn into big companies.
So the majority of our industry is made up of emerging companies, and as chair of Bio's emerging companies section and leader of OncoMed, can you tell us a little bit about what you recommend to other CEOs to get their story out and to prepare for going IPO?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's important to always tell the truth, to make sure that the documents you put together for your IPO are as factual and detailed as possible, because that's what the street's going to need. And I think as an emerging company CEO with venture capitalists on your board and public investors waiting to invest in your company, we have to somehow be part of narrowing the gap between what the venture community does and what the public investors do, because there's a gap there. There's an educational gap. They need to understand each other better. Public investors need to understand what venture capitalists have done, what risks they've taken to get these companies to the stage that they're at. And venture capital folks need to understand that public markets guys aren't necessarily as interested in thinking about what their issues are as they are getting the best possible deal on any kind of offering. So it's a negotiation that's going to take place that is not always going to be easy. And my advice to people is to hang in there and keep doing what you're doing. As long as we're innovating, as long as we're advancing our innovation, there'll be private markets and there'll be public markets, and there'll be a place for us in this whole ecosystem of biotechnology, emerging companies, mid-stage companies, large companies.
Good advice from Paul Hastings. Paul, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And for the BioBuzz Center, this is Tracy Cooley.